Didn't appreciate Bale celebrating like he'd won the Champions League, but he was playing probably one of the worst Premier League teams ever.
Lads.
£7:15 Sunday night. An interruption to the bank holiday festivities as Sheffield United make the trip to Tottenham Hotspur for the last of the real big games before trips to Peterborough and Hull and such glorious places next season. Tell you what, me for one, I cannot wait. It's the return to Tottenham where John Lundstram was ruled yards offside by his toenail. Thankfully, John Lundstram not in the side today. Anyway, I'll leave that one alone now. In the side was Choo Choo Basham. I'm going to support Hal trying to get that song going. He came in for Cian Bryan. Cian missing as his partner. Coronation Street Sophie Webster is due to give birth, so good luck to Cian and to Brooke, the real name of Sophie Webster. The game... no inspiration really. It really was an interruption to a bank holiday weekend, if I'm being quite honest. I'm trying to fill 2.5 minutes or so, trying to bring something positive out of it. Rhian Brewster had a shot. It nearly ended up in the Emirates. It was that far wide. I didn't think it nearly went for a throw-in. The Blades did muster one shot on goal. David McGoldrick. It was a shot on goal. Would it have reached? Who knows? John Fleck also had a shot on goal, which wouldn't have troubled my 88-year-old grandmother in a care home. Oh dear. It was dreadful, wasn't it? I'm awful, absolutely awful. Anyway, 36 minutes, Spurs got the goal, and it was a very, very well taken goal. Aurier chipped the ball over, and the Blades decided just to leave him be. Baldock at fault, Egan at fault. You could say Basham could have got it clear from Kane earlier, but lifted over nicely from Gareth Bale, and looking back on it, a very good goal. Spurs 1, Sheffield United 0. Second half, can we get back into this? Probably not. Are we going to? Doubt it. Are we going to end up scoring 0 again? Yes, I would probably think so. So the season in London's going to end with yet another defeat. So far, aggregate of 13 goals to 2, thanks to that Bale goal. And I think it could get a lot worse. Anyway, over to Cameron for the second half, who hopefully has something more to shout about than what I just have. When will this season end?
So after what was a pretty disappointing first half, second half, I guess we started out with something positive really. Sander Berge made his comeback. He came on at half time along with Ollie Burke for Brewster and Bogle. And yeah, the second half got underway, but it was great to see Sander back, so that was a decent positive, I guess. But yeah, a minute into the second half, there's been an incident with John Fleck and Lo Celso, and it's sort of, Fleck's gone for the ball, Lo Celso's gone down. As he's gone down, Fleck sort of jumped over him, and his right boot's caught Lo Celso's face. Whether he meant it or not, I'm not sure. I at first thought it was a red card, but it went to VAR, and thankfully he didn't get sent off, which was pretty lucky in my opinion, because I did think it was a red. But yeah, that was pretty much how the second half went. It wasn't great. 50 minutes in, 5 minutes after that incident with John Fleck, there was one long ball from Tottenham, and it split our defence completely, and Son was in, and he slotted it past Ramsdale, and it was 1-0. But again, VAR come to our rescue, and it actually was disallowed for offside. Thankfully, he was offside, so it was the right decision by VAR. We couldn't really get things going. We started off okay for the first five-ish minutes, I guess, 5-10 minutes, but after that it was just another lacklustre second half really. And then on 60 minutes, Spurs hit us on the counter, so Baldock's basically were on the attack. Baldock's tried to win a loose ball what's come out to the edge of the box. Son's nicked in front of him. Osborne's tried to recover, get there as well. Son's beat him again with pace, and he's just played Bale in, and I thought it was offside at first, but then on the replay he was miles onside. He was in his own half, so he couldn't have even been offside really. So yeah, he's played him in, and it's a critical finish past Ramsdale, and that's it. The game's pretty much dead from then on in. I guess we tried to create something, but nothing was really happening. Norwood had a great chance actually around 65 minutes. So Burks overlapped, I think it Baldock, and crossed it in, and Flex dummied it, and it's fell to Norwood, middle of the box, 20 yards out, and he smashed it straight at Lloris. And he could have actually took a touch, to be fair, and hit either side of the keeper. But yeah, it was a great chance to try and get us back in the game. Unfortunately, it just didn't go in. And a couple of minutes later, Bale's hat-trick came. Serge Aurier, the right back's bombed on. Does a great run, really, to be fair, and played it across the box, and Bale's just ran onto it 20 yards out and struck it past Ramsdale low and hard. He had no chance, and that was game, set and match, really, for us. Tottenham 3, and it was a Bale hat-trick. Didn't appreciate Bale celebrating like he'd won the Champions League, but he was playing probably one of the worst Premier League teams ever, so it was a bit weird that, but yeah, we carried on playing, and about 10 minutes later, Sons took it past Baldock on the edge of the box and struck a 25-yard screamer in off the post. So 4-0, game was dead. We didn't look really threatening at all, other than that Norwood chance. We didn't really create anything, and I think if we want to do anything next season, we can't have this system and Heckingbottom in charge. So that game, yeah, second half wasn't great, but same old story every week, I guess. We haven't got long left in this season. Hopefully we can try and get a couple more wins, but it was a dominant second half from Spurs, and unfortunately, we just wasn't good enough again, unfortunately.
All right, it's me and my biggest fan. That way, there we go. If you didn't watch the watch along, you chose to watch that awful game with the normal commentary. You doubly lost, so hope you feel pretty bad about yourself. Going to do the player ratings for today. Going to give Ramsdale a 6. I can't really give him higher than that because he conceded 4 goals, although really none of them were his fault. He was massively let down by his defence. I like him. I think he's looked very good second half of the season. Bogle, I am giving a 6, possibly a bit high. He was substituted at half-time. Didn't really do too much wrong, didn't really do too much right, but it's Bogle, and he's had a good season. He's probably been the best signing of the season, so I want to give him a 6, and I am, and I did. Just happened. Ender Stevens, looking a little bit like the Ender Stevens that we've seen over the last 12 months. Not really Ender. Not the Ender of old. It's the Ender of new. I like the Ender of old more. Giving him a 5. He tried a few tricks that didn't quite come off. Decision making not quite there. It's just not clicking for him at the moment. Basham. Now, this might sound ridiculous, but I thought that he actually came back in, despite having been out for a little while with a really bad injury. That initially didn't seem that serious, but kept him out for a while. I thought he slotted in like he hadn't been out for too long, and even though we know he won't be fully fit, he managed to last. So for that, I've got to give him a 6. He just is Basham, and he embodies everything we would want to see on the field. He's like one of us. He's kind of like our representative on the pitch. So I think the default setting for me for Basham is 6, unless he does anything hugely wrong. Egan, it's probably a generous 6. I mean, it's probably generous giving anyone a 6 after such an awful display. There was that first goal where I thought Egan, Baldock, and one other stopped Norwood. I think it was stopped. Yeah, it was when Bale ran through, and they were just standing, watching, and then eventually reacting too late. And he was one of them, but it's John Egan. And for the rest of the game, there was particularly first half, there was good moments when he was strong, put a foot in and won the ball back. Overall, I mean, no one covered themselves in glory, but I'll give him a 6. Baldock 5. Just a few moments where I just think he looks quite uncomfortable at centre-back. I just don't think he is a centre-back. It's not his fault. I mean, Ender Stevens isn't a centre-back either. I just think we're playing square pegs, round holes. We should have changed the formation after sort of the third game, and we're still persisting in playing players out of position. No, it's not his fault, but he isn't as good there as he is at right wing back, where he's one of the best attacking right wing backs in the league. Won't be surprised me at all if George Baldock is still playing Premier League football next season, but he wasn't himself today, or yesterday, or whenever you're watching this. 5. Ollie Norwood, not great either. Moment where he switched off that I mentioned earlier. Put himself about, whenever he got the ball, I thought he looked more composed than he certainly did at Bramall Lane against Tottenham. But all round, just not putting enough of a stamp on the game and affecting it enough to actually get us out of the bind we were in. So I'll give him a 5. Osborne, a 6. No one's getting higher than that, and Osborne was good. Just finds himself in so much space, as well as getting all about the pitch. 1 minute he's on the left, next minute he's on the right. He just runs for hours and hours like a Duracell bunny. He gets a 6 because he's great, and I like players that give their all. Fleck started quite well, probably our best player in the first half. Overall, nothing more than a 6. Picked a few wrong options at times. We saw the same further up the pitch, particularly Didsey, when he had a shot when he could have passed to Osborne in the first half. But 6 overall. Rhian Brewster, Corey tries. Feels like that goal's never going to come, poor lad. I don't think it will this season. I don't think he's going to get a Premier League goal. I think it'd be great for us next season and eventually will come good and prove to be a good signing, but it just didn't happen for him. Didn't happen for him in this game. Like so many others, it's sort of just a mark of the entire season today. Give him a 4. Didsey, David McGoldrick, good chance when he shot from the edge of the box when he could have passed, that I mentioned earlier. Dropped deep, as he often does, to kind of link the play. But he is up there as a goal scorer, and normally this season he's been very reliable, but he didn't really do enough today, although he didn't get a lot of service, obviously. So I think I have to give him a 5, just because at no point did I think, here we go, Didsey's going to score. The subs, Sander Berger, I'm giving him a 6 just because he's been out for so long with such an awful injury. And he came back and he wasn't brilliant, but he wasn't bad either. He had a good few marauding runs, some decent passing. He also had that terrible moment where he was in the box, sort of 5 yards out, and just looked like a kid who'd never headed a football before. But I'm giving him a 6 because it can't be easy coming back from such a long injury. Burke, 5, just fast but not much more. Mousset, 3. What on earth is going on with Lys Mousset? Can we have the old Lys back, please?
Hi, Blades. So positives and negatives for today. And it's another week where I really don't have much to say on the positive front. It was another horrendous performance. Embarrassing, really. They just walked all over us. They didn't even have to get our first gear. Kudos to us for being consistent, Every single time we've got a decent result this season, we followed it up with an absolutely horrendous one and horrendous performance. I know we don't have anything to play for, but you still expect to see a little bit of grit there and, just trying to find something to go into next season. And we just let them do whatever they wanted today. No one's disputing that our players are not good enough. No one is disputing the fact that we are just against better players, especially today. Tottenham have some quality in their team. Bale, hat-trick, he's quality. And, I'm pleased that he's doing well for Tottenham. And then I knew he was going to, if he started today, he was going to absolutely destroy us. But it's like, he didn't have to work for any of them goals he scored at all. Didn't have to work for any of them. First one, you could see what was going to happen a mile off and we just let him walk past us. Second one, it came from our corner, guys. It's just not good enough. And it was just everything is just schoolboy rubbish that we should be doing better on. Professional footballers should know what they're doing and what they're doing wrong. It's just... Sons was the only good goal of quality. It makes me angry. And I've said this on Twitter as well. What quality manager's really going to want to come to us and manage this group of players? Because there's a rot that's set in with this squad, guys, and I don't know how we're going to get out of it at all. People who think we're going to do a Norwich or a Watford and piss the league next season are kidding themselves, because we're really not. Not in a million years are we going to do that. All this talk of Blessing, up-and-coming manager, good reputation. Do you really think he wants to come to Sheffield United and potentially ruin that reputation? Or it's very likely that he'll ruin that reputation. Jokanovic, do you really think he'd want to come? I mean, apparently he's not even on our list. What sort of manager are we looking at? I don't know what sort of managers we're looking at. We need a good manager to do anything with this squad. I'm sorry, I don't know what to say anymore. It's just so frustrating and really worrying. these last 4 or 5 years have been incredible, and we're back to square one again, and somehow even worse. Positive is, guys, we're nearly done. One more game closer to the end of the season, and then we don't have to put up with this for a few months. So fingers crossed we get a new manager in and he actually managed to do something. Up the Blades!
Well, glad I decided to cut my beach day short to come back and watch us get hammered 4-0 by Spurs. Probably not the most prudent decision I've ever made in my life. So where do we go from here? I don't know. Do you know? I don't know. It'd be nice if the Prince would maybe give us an idea. We've now heard about this mysterious shortlist, this 5-man shortlist that does contain Paul Heckingbottom's name. And listen, I have nothing against Paul Heckingbottom. He's doing a job right now that is unenviable. Nobody would want to follow in Chris Wilder's footsteps, and he's doing it. And I have no ill will towards the man whatsoever. But if you put him in charge for the championship season, you're pretty much guaranteeing that you're not getting promoted. He's not the right man, and that's okay. It's, again, no fault of his own, but it doesn't show any ambition if you appoint a Paul Heckingbottom long term. So again, much like I said in earlier videos, it'd be nice to hear what the plan is. Who's on the short list? When are we going to hire him? And where do we go from here? I'm asking the Prince, where do we go from here? I'm asking Steve Bettis, where do we go from here? They're probably busy asking Jan Van Winkle, where do we go from here? I think player-wise, it occurred to me the other day that so much criticism that United have come in for over the last season and a half is buying the best championships players. Ollie McBurney, Rhian Brewster, even though he was a Premier League player, he excelled in the championship. But really, that's exactly what we need now. Looking forward, we need to identify who the best players in the championship are, snap them up, and have them continue this journey we're on, and have them push us towards promotion. I think we've all got to come to terms with the fact that in Chris Wilder, we had one of a kind. And not just because of what he did for the club, but because of his story, fan, ball boy, player, and then manager. And we do have to come to terms with the fact that the next man's not going to be somebody with that kind of backstory. It could just be any other manager. And that's okay. Because really, it doesn't matter about the story. It matters about the results now. So be it Tyndall, be it Blessing, be it a name we haven't heard yet. Just give them time, get them in the door, give them funds, support them with money. Don't sell players out from underneath them. And maybe the answer to where we go from here is right back to the Premier League. Up the Blades.